Oh, yes. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Complete Geek TV. We have finally got the PlayStation Dualsense Edge Controller right here in the studio. We're so excited to open this thing up and see how it works. But we're gonna do a couple other things too. So with us, we've also got the Scuff Reflex and the Hex controller. So these are probably the closest comparisons to the Dualsense Edge out right now. So we're gonna compare both, see how they all work, and which one we think is better. Let's go. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is get this open and check it out. There's some tape here. Can we get this open with my fingernail? Yeah, a little bit. We're gonna break things here. Man, that is on there good. So they use some heavy duty tape. Yeah, I'm just destroying this package and even more. All right, we're just gonna rip it open now at this point. Now we're gonna get it open. Man, I'm excited about this thing. It looked so cool just from the previews. So it opens like this. It's got some nice PlayStation branding on it. Here we go. Oh, it comes with a case. I guess I assumed it would. And there's a manual and stuff down there. We've got a nice little black and white PlayStation case. This is, I mean, it's very hard, like almost like armored plastic. It's super nice, super cool. And there it is. All right, so just straight out of the box, let's feel it and see what we think here. Oh man. I mean, it feels like a pretty normal PS5 controller. One of the biggest differences right away is the touchpad has indentation of 0x square triangle. It's not like raised though, so it's still a very smooth feeling, which that would have been weird if it was like bumpy, you know? But obviously this does a whole lot of other stuff, so let's take all of the stuff out and see. So we've got paddles. This is one of the things most people were excited about. Paddles that can go in over here. They go in really super easy. I had no idea what I was looking at here, and they went in like 2 seconds. Super simple. If you don't want to do paddles, they've got some like, I don't even know what you'd call these. What would you call these, Victor? What would you call this?
Dongles. Just kidding.
Dongles? They're like these little nubs. So they've got nubs. Yeah, I don't know what we would call this exactly. But yeah, I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about this. Because on all the videos and, you know, the advertisements I saw for it, they looked like they stuck out a lot farther. But this, like, that's actually kind of comfortable. Okay, actually, like, I might prefer this over the paddles. Obviously, I'll have to play some games to see, but... No, I actually really like that. I did not think I was gonna like that. And then, of course, we've got some extra sticks. So if you wanna put a different type of top on it, you can. It's a domed top. I really wish, I mean, I can understand maybe why they didn't. I know you've probably heard me say it on 1,000 videos already on this channel that although I prefer the overall layout of the PlayStation controller with the parallel sticks, I actually prefer the feel of the Xbox sticks. So I would have loved if they had something similar to that in there that just have the, like, because Xbox have like a very like strong grip around the edge. Like I feel like your thumb can't slip off even if you're trying to. But then we got one extra thing right here. Actually, we got one more thing after that. And this is, from what I understand, a locking, I don't know how to set this on. We'll have to figure this out here. But I believe this is some sort of locking, why can't I think today? This is some sort of locking thing for the USB-C port. Man, I can't talk. Get in, lock it. There we go, now it's locked. So if you have a cord plugged in, you wanna keep it powered indefinitely while you're playing, you can do that. One more thing, it's got a USB-C cable. This thing is very long, so that is super nice. Making those longer gaming sessions very easy because I feel like just a cheap extension cord into a brick then to this could probably get you across a room pretty easily. I mean, this is taller than I am for sure, so I would say this is a 10-foot cable.
That cable's crazy long, dude.
I know, I'm actually really surprised they made the cable this long. I mean, there's nothing worse than like you open up a product and it's like an inch long cable. I mean, inch is actually pretty long.
Yeah.
Yeah, an inch is huge.
Yeah. At least that's what I've heard.
So that's how this thing is. Let's get this hooked up and actually test it out and see how it works. All right, so now that we're hooked up, it's gonna go through all of this. Sounds like these are to switch between different profiles, you know, like push down, hit X, and that'll jump from one profile to the next. We will do this another time. Right now, I just wanna see how it feels, how it plays. So one thing I forgot to mention is there is some switches on the back to allow different customization of your triggers. So when they're on the longest mode, you know, they have a lot of travel, a lot of distance to them, and then you can switch it. So yeah, they don't move quite as far. And then these, it moves just a tiny bit. So I could see where that'd be very useful, especially on the right trigger for like first person shooter games, you know, where you're like, you know, you need to make some real quick. There's a lot more travel than I expected with the shortest distance. And like I said, we're gonna get comparing to some stuff. So like, for instance, the Hex controller here, like there is a lot less movement than there is on the PlayStation 1. Well, it's weird. It's like a more clicky movement. The one downside though is that with the Hex, you cannot switch to a longer movement. When you get it, this is its option. It is a very short trigger with no haptics in the triggers whatsoever, like the actual controller does. It's pretty much just, kind of in my opinion, just for first-person shooters. So it kind of depends on what preference you want. I'm gonna turn this down. This is getting a lot louder. Let's feel the Scuff real quick. Shout out to my cousin Isaiah for letting us borrow the Scuff so we could do this. So it looks like the Scuff has full movement of triggers right here. And I believe the Scuff has different options. You can buy versions of the Scuff that have the short, you know, quick hair triggers, but this one does not. So just by default, I would say this is winning so far in the trigger department, just simply because it can be selected, whether it's short movement, medium, or long. So
How long would you say it's long?
Long, I mean,
Yeah.
that's like a full 1.5 centimeters of movement. I mean, that's
really
humongous. I am not comfortable with that size.
I would call it very long.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. So I am happy to report that the PS5 Dualsense Edge Controller does have the adaptive triggers. So like as you kind of push against you, certain games do different stuff. You can like really feel the resistance. That's one thing that's really special about the original PS5 controller. It's just different from anything else like that. So let's hook up one of these and see how that works. Now we're using the Scuff Reflex, and I don't know if it's the trigger, but I'm actually getting the adaptive trigger feel here too. I did not know the Scuff did that, which is really cool. So one of the biggest differences though between this and the Dualsense Edge is that you don't have the adjustments. So we can't make this a really short hair trigger if we want, or in the middle. I mean, it's got the full range no matter what. But it is definitely giving me some haptics. Yeah, some feedback and some haptics. So that's pretty cool. Let's try out the Hex and see what we get there. We are now playing with the Hex controller. Again, I'm feeling a little bit of vibration, but it's clearly not the like adaptive trigger feel. Like it's not pushing against me. I think I'm just feeling vibration from the controller itself. All three of these options actually have quite a bit of haptic feeling, which I was surprised by. I kind of figured that with these being third-party controllers in a way, they were just gonna forego that completely, but it's kind of interesting that you still even get some of that. The thing about the PlayStation, the DualSense Edge, is that you still get that full movement if you want it. Like you can switch, and it's nice that you can actually switch, where the other controllers are either or. Like this has full movement, this is stuck at, you know, just a very quick trigger. So that's one area where I feel like the DualSense Edge still wins, just because you have the option. Now that we're back in the studio, we're just gonna take a closer look at all three of these kind of side by side and talk a little bit about them. I really, really like the DualSense Edge controller. It feels great. I love the option of the triggers. I love that you can quickly just, you know, hit a couple buttons to switch to a different profile. That's really awesome, and you can save customizable profiles. Some of the other things, I think I mentioned earlier, I wasn't quite sure. The Scuff is the one that we don't personally own. Again, thank you to my cousin Isaiah for letting us even use this. But the Scuff does have interchangeable sticks. I wasn't sure if it was because there wasn't a really obvious like pull off and on. Like obviously, you know, with the PlayStation, you just kind of, You can just switch it off and on. Real easy, and you're good. It does have interchangeable sticks, but it looks like you have to take this front plate off a little bit. So it's a bit more of a process. For most people, I don't see why that's that big of a deal, considering I feel like once you kind of find the stick configuration you like, you're probably gonna stick with it. So I doubt you're gonna need to swap sticks in and out a lot. The Hex also has interchangeable sticks. They're pretty similar to how the PlayStation works. It just kind of pops off and on. I'm not as big of a fan of all the Hex's stick options, to be honest. They feel very rubbery and don't have tons of grip. There's some grip on the inside of them, but not a ton of grip on the outside. I actually do prefer the PlayStation sticks to that, just because of the extra like outside grip for your thumbs. So a couple things I totally forgot to mention that I want to make sure I get in here before we end this video is the function buttons right here. The function buttons can be assigned to jump to different profiles, but I also read you can use them to hold down, you know, and hit buttons to adjust like volume in your headphones or mic volume, which is really cool. It's obviously not a feature in these ones, but also the paddles. One really cool thing about the paddles, I like how you can switch which paddles you're using, but let's talk about the Scuff for a second. The Scuff actually has 4 paddle buttons. There's kind of more of a button and more of a paddle one. So in a way, it does have more customizable back paddles. So if that's something you use a lot and you use the back paddles for everything and you want to not even touch your normal, you know, X, square, triangle, like all of that, the Scuff might be the better way to go. The Hex also has back paddles, but it's just 2. They're very, very clicky. They make a lot of noise. I don't feel like they're in as comfortable of a position personally, but again, that's comfortability is just preference. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there, so I made sure I didn't forget. But overall, they're all pretty great controllers. I do think the Edge probably edges the others out and wins it, just because of the customizable triggers. You know, you can, if you want short triggers, you've got them. If you want triggers that have lots of travel, you still got it. It's pretty awesome. Again, I think you'd probably be happy with any of them, but at the price point, they are all $200. Currently, at the time of making this video, the Hex is actually $190. $10 off. But that still wouldn't gear me towards it. I would say with just the customizable features of the Edge, I'd have to say this wins. This is what I would pick personally. I mean, that's up to you. It's just, it is really nice. I mean, like I've already said, it's just the customizability of this is just really, really awesome. And I think being at the same price point as the others, it definitely kind of edges its way towards the front of the pack for sure. So I'm excited to be using this as my main gaming controller. But if you have any comments or have any questions, make sure you send those down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please like it. Please subscribe. Make sure you check out all of our other videos, because we do comparisons like this all the time and tons of other videos as well. So make sure to check out our others, and I'll see you on the next one.